That's right, KP in the news, y'all. We're going to keep it pushing and we're going to keep it rolling. That's right, we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it real. And guess what? We got a mayor named Keisha. That's right. Atlanta Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms had to have a discussion with her 12-year-old son after the pair received racist text regarding her efforts to keep the city closed amid the coronavirus pandemic, she said Thursday. In a Wednesday night tweet, the mayor said she received a text addressing her by the N-word and demanding shut up and reopen Atlanta. Her son received the same text. She later told the city council when Bottoms opened the text on her phone, she said her daughter was looking over her shoulder as she read it. Bottoms included in her tweet, "I pray for you, consensual stupidity or sincere ignorance," a nod to Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s assertion that nothing is more dangerous than these two human characteristics. Following Governor Primp's controversial decision to start reopening parts of the state's economy, Bottoms pushed back, saying she would consider legal options to keep Atlanta largely shut down because the city is not out of the woods yet. "I've searched my head and my heart on this, and I'm at a loss to what the governor is basing this decision on," Bottoms said earlier this week. "You have to live to fight another day, and you have to be able to be amongst the living to be able to recover." Disagreement over courses of action have been a theme during the pandemic, with residents in some states staging protests over the decision to shut down parts of their economies, while local leaders, governors, and federal governments bicker over the best way forward. When a city council member asked Bottoms on Thursday how she was handling the racist abuse, she said her family was fine, but this was disturbing, and her son received the same message. "This was more concerning to me. That was more concerning to me than anything," she said. She had a very long conversation with civil rights activist and former ambassador Andrew Young Thursday morning, and he reminded her that white supremacy is a sickness. Bottoms would not stop speaking up for and defending people of Atlanta. She told the city council, "We are not cowards. Cowards don't run for office," she said. The number from which the text originated is not a real phone number. It contains only 9 digits. The number has been used in the phishing scams, according to online reports, and it was included in a federal cyberstalking case out of Washington, D.C., in which the defendant was accused of using technology that enables anonymity to send harassing messages to an ex-girlfriend. So stand up, my sister. Keep standing up and keep fighting the stupidity. Fight the powers. Fight it. Got to fight the stupidity out there, because that's all it is, you know. That's all it is a bunch of stupidity. Speaking of stupidity, here we go. This is the first story I've seen so far. 4 men confine a woman in her home to rob her of her stimulus check. A little funky $1,200 check. 4 Indiana men who allegedly broke into a woman's home and confined her for hours to steal her stimulus check have been charged, the police said. And I'll let it be known that these are white guys here. They're not black guys, so don't even assume that they are. Paul Blankenship, Philip Guzman, Jacob Ballman, and all of Lake Station, along with Christopher Henderson of Hobart, were taken into custody after the woman reported that she had been the victim of a crime. They were each charged Monday with burglary with the deadly weapon, armed robbery, criminal confinement while armed with the deadly weapon, and burglary of a dwelling, and residential breaking and entering. At 5:51 a.m. on Sunday, a woman went to the Lake Station Police Department and reported she was held against her will at her home for 4 hours by suspects, all of whom she knew. According to police, the woman told the police the suspects were aware she had received her stimulus check and intended to rob her. She said she awoke when the men broke into her home around 1:30 a.m. One of the men immediately grabbed her phone to prevent her from calling 911, and another had a gun, she told police. The men eventually left and told her not to go anywhere because they would be back. Police said once she was sure they were gone, the woman told police she drove to the police station to report the crime. The suspects were located a short time after. While the suspects are being held at Lake County Jail on a $75,000 bond. That's right, keep them. They're too stupid to be on the streets. Entirely too stupid to be on the streets. So here we go with, this is a follow-up on one of my other stories that I did. I did a story about the USS Teddy Roosevelt, and this is another Navy vessel. This is the U.S. naval destroyer in the Caribbean sees significant coronavirus outbreak. And April 24th, the U.S. naval destroyer is believed to have a significant coronavirus outbreak on board as it carries out a counter-narcotics mission in the Caribbean, U.S. officials told Reuters on Friday, marking the latest challenge for the military in dealing with the virus. The official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said that over a dozen sailors had tested positive for the virus. Given the size of the ship, usually only a few hundred sailors, an outbreak like this is likely to cause concern and raise questions about whether it would have to return to the United States. The cases on the ship appear to be the first on board a ship currently underway at sea. The aircraft carrier Teddy Roosevelt was in the Asia Pacific when it had an outbreak on board, having to eventually dock in Guam. Nearly 850 out of the roughly 4,800 personnel on the carrier have tested positive on the Roosevelt. And sidebar on that one, you remember that was where the Commander Crozier had basically lost his job. He had got fired for trying to get in contact with some people to try to see if he can get some help for his men aboard the ship, and he ended up getting fired from his job. And right now there's a real concerted effort for him to get his job back, and he really should get his job back. Okay, but on with the story. The destroyer kid is part of the Trump administration's deployment of more Navy warships and aircraft to the Caribbean to fight drug cartels. Announcing the deployment earlier this month, the Trump administration said that additional warships and aircraft were also aimed at preventing corrupt actors like Venezuelan President Maduro from exploiting the coronavirus pandemic to smuggle more narcotics. Oh boy. Now, you talk about this guy got personal issues, man. This country is being led by one of the sickest people with the sickest theories out of any person that I've ever encountered in my life. Every single day for the past 3.5, almost 4 years, it's been controversy after controversy after controversy, revenge after revenge. He's fired over close to 200 people have been fired from this cabinet, and this continues to go on and on and on and on. And it's like, well, who's basically watching the country, because this guy's obviously not. It's nowhere in the world you could have all this conflict going on in your administration for close to 4 years. You're not getting anything done. So it's like, I'll say it again. If your only job was to destroy what President Obama put in place, and President Obama's job was to correct all the damage that Bush put in place, that means you, DC Dunce, Idiot 45, is basically taking us all the way back to the Bush era, because you haven't replaced any of those things that you destroyed that President Obama put in place. You haven't replaced it with anything. So if you haven't replaced what you just got rid of, that means we're going backwards. And as you can see, the economy is folding up. It's folding like a deck of cards before your eyes. Wake up, people. Wake the hell up. I'm telling you, you need to wake up and realize exactly what's going on.